I'll start by saying thank you for getting me again connected into this beautiful story of humanitarian activities, which is very close to my heart. I think the best way to describe how close it is to tell a little bit about how and why we're here. So a couple of words about me. I am Alexandros Osana, apparently coming from Greece. I'm the branch manager of a software consultancy firm in Greece called The Experts. It's a Dutch firm that recently opened a branch in Greece, and I'm engaged in the leadership of this entity. As an academic background, I'm an electrical engineer from the University of Patras, and I have also a master's in management engineering from Politecnico di Milano in Italy. And my professional path includes various smaller or larger organizations. I just care to name a few here, like I Know How in Greece, Microsoft in Italy, and the Quest Group until recently, where I was serving multiple teams as a technical project manager there. Now, as far as IEEE is concerned, the story goes, well, quite back for me. I guess other people have longer stories than this. I joined as a student volunteer in the local branch in Patras in 2012, and from that point on, it really felt like a volunteering home for me, because I was very inclined to do extracurricular activities. So I started as a volunteer there. We did many beautiful things in Patras back at the time. Then at some point I also started. I was requested from the chair of the Greece section to serve as a Greece section student representative, which I did for I think 1.5 or yeah, maybe a little bit less than 2 years. And as far as I remember, the successor in this position was George, right, George?
Yes, it was me.
Right after, yeah. And then I got a little bit involved into the Region 8 activities, and on that context, I was able to assist in technical chapters coordination for a year, I think. And it was at that point where the engagement with the regional staff of IEEE led me to the curiosity about humanitarian activities long before I got to know SITE, although it was existent. And I started searching a little bit about this. I realized that there was such a department in IEEE dedicated to humanitarian activities, and it was the point where I decided to make my move, let's say. So I think this is a good connection to bring us into today's short presentation. This is more or less the agenda. It follows the time order. I'll tell you a little bit about the past of the Region 8 Humanitarian Activities Committee and how it started. I think the present is covered, and it was also covered yesterday from our guests here and members of the committee, of course. And maybe the one little contribution I can add to what I'll tell about the past is also a couple of suggestions or considerations about the future, which might be useful. So this is my map to just give you a little bit of the story. In May 2015, I was in discussions, as I told you, out of curiosity with various people in Region 8 about a set of activities that would also include social impact or environmental impact. Back then, it was a little bit distinguished. Nowadays, it's a little bit more combined, although there is a clear line between those two. And that also created a small discussion. At some point, I initiated that discussion with the former director of Region 8, Kostas Tasopoulos. So we started discussing back then, and he told me, why don't you make a move and let's create a committee out of it. In any case, this new initiative in IEEE starts to get some traction. So it would be good to have a local core of activities here in Region 8 as well. And this is how it started. And that, of course, had the vision of SITE as you know it, and the Humanitarian Activities Committee as you already know it, but I just added here a small description of what my personal vision was about this and what I wanted to see in this, looking into this community of active people, was to make these people more aware or more sensitive, let's say, to community needs, and realize the fact that our engagement with technology and our knowledge can be offered in service of local communities, and not only local, but also through the collaboration of IEEE members around the world to distant communities that are underserved. So from that point on, we had the growth in various dimensions. First, in 2016, a couple of more people joined our team. From what I get and from what I'm reading online, the situation now is way different than it was back then, and this pleases me very much, because I see a lot of growth and a lot of activity on that front of IEEE. Back then, it was yeah, let's say more or less the enthusiasts were getting into the game. So this growth of from 3 to 5 members was already a big success to start something substantial in Region 8, and at least have a voice in the whole global image and map of site. And this was the moment exactly where we started also supporting some side groups that were just starting in Region 8, and also a couple of them that were already existent before us, especially in Africa. And we started having discussions with them in order to understand how we can support them, and taking a little bit of the responsibility from the centralized Humanitarian Activities and site coordination committee, the steering committee. So yeah, the community grew. The positive thing about this was also that there was a good representation of all areas around Region 8. We had people from Europe, from Africa, from Middle East. The balance was really excellent, and it was not, to be frank, it was not on purpose. It just happened, and it was very positive. Then moving on, in 2017, we had our first corresponding members, and that also enriched again the whole mixture of ideas and people that could contribute there. And we also started to have what we call the definition, let's say, of the rules of engagement, or on what is our responsibility relating to the responsibility of the steering committee of site and the Humanitarian Activities Committee. What was our rapport with them? How could we influence on support the site groups within Region 8? And what we could do also in terms of budget, because back then, and well, up until the moment I stopped being involved in the committee, there was little to non-budgeting for the committee. Then in 2018, we were already, let's say, mature in terms of team members, and the pleasing thing was that we could see some of the people standing out and being able also to take leadership in this committee. So this was the moment I also was in the happy position to realize that I could transfer this knowledge and responsibility and create, develop the new generation in the very perfect scheme that and model that IEEE follows as current chair, past chair, and chair-elect, we say, but in this case, let's say the future chair, if I can call it that way. So this scheme helped very much, and I think it's very good to adopt in many occasions. So what we started to do there was exactly implementing this, preparing the new generation. Then I stayed for another year in the committee, and at the same time I started also contributing into the impact assessment committee of IEEE, which was in a global level, and we were starting back then to assess if the work done by both Humanitarian Activities Committee and the Site Steering Committee was having the impact that was supposed to have, and how we could measure the impact of the various projects, the impact that they had in the local communities. That's for the past. That's how we arrived to let's say to 2019. Then there was COVID. There was a big interruption of various things, although the committee continued, of course, to operate, and it served in various fronts as far as I know. Now, and this is my concluding slide, just a couple of things that maybe could be worth considering for the future. These are three things that I consider them as challenges back then, and I saw them throughout my service in the Humanitarian Activities Committee in Region 8. The first is about clarity, and this was very important, especially when we saw various groups trying to develop something that would have impact in their local community, and it was not very easy for them, neither for us and for them, back at the time, to understand how we could convert this into a side project. So being clear, and I'm saying this not knowing exactly what is the situation right now, but I'm really sure it's helpful to keep this in mind always. Being clear on processes and criteria, and of course not double processes as I wrote there, but on processes and criteria for site groups is very important. And also making sure that within the scope of every project, these humanitarian values and the humanitarian orientation of the whole program remains safeguarded, let's say that way. Then when it comes to projects themselves, guide them proactively. What does that mean? That as steering committees of various levels, either Region 8 or global one, or I don't know, maybe a section committee that tries to overview the side projects, which I guess in some countries exist. Back at the time, we also had some local activity in Greece. It is important that we monitor and support the side groups throughout their life cycle, because it is easy to create probably or to incubate a group and then just leave it in its own destiny, and that will be very difficult to continue having the impact that it's supposed to have. So we need to be there to support, but at the same time monitor and keep the scope narrow with accordance to what the initial mission and aim of the project was. Then encourage a clear vision for every project. Some of the projects, that's what we saw, and I guess it also applies to today, were very vague in their description of their aim. And of course, it's not very easy because the volunteering groups, they vary from very young people, very young students to older groups or mature engineers and maybe young professionals or even more mature professionals. It is important that the scope of the project is clear and the impact that it will have is clear. And of course, that doesn't mean that there will not be any pivoting around it, because practice always changes the initial business plan, as we know from business. But it is important to keep in mind where we started and why we started this journey. And of course, keep in mind that a side project per se is not the end. So the successful completion of the project, which is a very big milestone, of course, should not be the end. And I just, I put this bullet here because I wanted to introduce also the entrepreneurial aspect of it. Can this project be converted into something else after it completes its mission? Can it be a small NGO? Can it be a social enterprise? Even better. So where the balance of non-profit and for-profit forces is balanced. Can it be something that contributes to the local society in a permanent level, like I don't know, like a local community that gets engaged also in the governance of the local community or the public sector. And then the last thing is, which is connected to this bullet that we're discussing now, to this point, is do not isolate yourself when you're working on humanitarian projects, because there are many actors in the game. Some of them are well-intentioned, others might be less well-intentioned, but the important is that we have to keep our lateral vision active in order to make alliances. And this, if you have to take something from my presentation, just keep this. Keep an eye always to the right, to the left. If there are other organizations like NGOs, somebody asked a question before. If there are NGOs, if there are other people that are trying to engage in an impactful project about the community, do not isolate yourself or consider yourself virtuous because you have a good vision. The important thing is to collaborate with every possible stakeholder in this, every possible actor that wishes to contribute with good intention. And also, we can take it also isolated to the fact that as IEEE, volunteers are bringing in the aspect of technology. That also liberates us from just thinking about, you know, self-created projects. We can be also part of a bigger project probably, and we could bring in this know-how on technology, this experience in technology. And I think this is something that we need to consider more and more, always. What we can bring, look at the projects that already exist and how we can use technology to make them better. I think that will be it. I hope I met the time frame. George, you will tell me. Yeah, thank you very much. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Well, as I mentioned, it's a real pleasure to be here, and thank you, George, for organizing it all. Thank you, the whole team. Thank you, Theodoros, for also having it all together. Well, okay, in a similar fashion, by the way, Alex, it's also great to see you after a while and to remember the past, yeah, all together. Very good. My name is Vinko Lešić. I am from Croatia, which is a tiny country in Europe. And currently, I'm one of 3 vice chairs of IEEE Region 8. You can see it here in the geographic part. It consists of Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Me, myself, I'm a member activities vice chair, but I will also show you next to me, there is a vice chair for student activities.
Hello.
And Abdul is also past chair of the Humanitarian Committee. Right now we are in Oslo, Norway, and we just finished our OPCOM meeting, that means Operations Committee of Region 8. Okay, so by the way, Oslo is -4 or 5, and I'm not coming from these areas.
Quite warm.
Quite warm, right. Okay, so besides IEEE, I'm an associate professor at University of Zagreb, so that means academic career altogether. And between IEEE, I was here for 16 years, I just checked to remember. So ever since the student branch days all the way to the Region 8 vice chair. And during this time, it was really a pleasure to meet many and plenty volunteers. And as I mentioned, Alex is one of them. But also I look forward to meeting you all together, whoever is participating in this Congress. I expect that you're gonna continue your volunteering altogether. All right, so enough about me. I will present you a little bit of Region 8, and I will show you the committees that we have, and a little bit more on the humanitarian activities side, and then just for you to know what is going on the organizational side, but also on the opportunities and where you can issue more collaboration. All right, so when we say IEEE Region 8, that means we are today talking about almost 82,000 IEEE members. So the highest peak number that we have is over 85,000 people, and you can see the other numbers here as well. So there are 112 affinity groups, 774 student branches, which means at least as much as the universities and faculties that we have within our region. All right, so these are the committees that we have. I suppose you can recognize Theodoros. Let me just click it here. Okay, and besides humanitarian activities committee, we also have membership development, young professionals, women in engineering, entrepreneurship, life members, and history. From this year, we have many new ad hoc committees. So ad hoc means that we are just creating one committee on a specific topics, and some of those are senior members, milestones awareness, fellow members, and the one that is perhaps most relevant for this topic as well is engineering projects in community service, or EPICS. We also have careers, new initiatives, and territories in crisis. Well, altogether, all these committees, all these people and all these faces, they have their own committees, like Theodoros is leading the humanitarian one, and George is part of his committee together with Omar and all the people you have met during this Congress. And altogether, we have over 100 such volunteers, only under member activities, or MA, how we say it in short. So just to say, when you say member activities, what does it really mean in concept of IEEE? And you remember our slogan, advancing technology for benefit of humanity. So that means that we start with a real problem or impact that we would like to solve, and then we apply technology in doing so. So together with that, the humanitarian activities is very much in line. Just also to show you a little bit of numbers, these are the statistics of the events that we did in our Region 8. And for the August 2023, why August? Because we are always late in reporting. So if I showed you numbers for November, they would not be truly completely truthful at this point. So if you see the site group or the projects, last year we had 43 events in, let's say, first half of the year. And this year we have 110 events. So it's an increase of 155%, which is really fascinating. And probably thanks to you all who are part of the participants of this Congress. So one large thank you for that. It's really wonderful to see it. You can also see it in the other contexts. And before 2022, it was even less. And that year was already very much revolutionary. So if you're seeing this, Alex, that's also credit to you and all the past chairs. I show you one also on my side sitting next to me. All right. Now I will go through the committees and I will run fast. So just, the basic information. One is Region 8 Young Professionals Committee. So that means the people who graduated for the last 15 years from their bachelor degree. So in Croatia, that would mean you are age of 37. In Greece, that would mean your age of 40, just because your bachelor is longer. And well, right now I am on the edge of the young professionals, but still you can be part of this community even if you exceed the age, of course. And it will always be a pleasure to keep part of this community. So we have almost 1/3 of these people in our region, among that 85,000 people I mentioned before. So why is it good for you? Because you can collaborate with them. Every section, well, most of the sections, they have affinity groups. And affinity groups can apply for the funding from the central part. And they can get up to $3,000 annually. So you can talk to them and perhaps organize an event together or a program or whatever you wish. A meeting, at a conference, a social gathering, yeah, you name it, and it's really very much supported there. Besides young professional, we also have women in engineering, which is a self-explanatory name. They try to promote technology between this certain, well, specific community of women. Why? Because in many areas they are, let's say, underserved and pushed a little bit aside. So just to show that the equality, inclusion, and everything is really being considered here, this is their mission. And you can see the numbers as well here. You can see that Tunisia section is the highest one. You can see that it's followed by Jordan, Lebanon, Turkey, Egypt, and all the very, very interesting parts. So they also have their programs. But before that, they also have the awards, which is perhaps one of the ways how they pinpoint very successful people and very successful volunteers. So the let's say the highest prestigious one is Clementina Sadula Award. Perhaps you already know the name. And it will, for example, come with $1,000 for a person, specific person. And all the others, they also come with the seed funding. And you also have this in every other committee, including the humanitarian awards as well. So what they do is they basically contribute to every event that's happening on. So if you're doing something for the humanitarian, you can also ask for their support. You can also ask for their financial support, but also on the side of the speakers and whatever you think about. Then we have entrepreneurship committee, which is kind of a, let's say, competition-based, well, as the name says. So they gather, well, they organize local events in your sections or countries, And one of the mandatory part of the event is the pitch competition. So if you have a technological idea that you would like to turn into a startup, or you already have a startup, the higher developed is, the more chance you have to succeed. So you participate in one of these events, and then if you are among top 3 candidates, we put you together in a regional pool. So that means whole Europe, Africa, and Middle East is putting together all the winners from all the sections. And annually, we have about 50 to 70 such startups. Among them, we select the 5 best ones, and we bring them to a very high-profile event in our region. The last one happening 2 weeks ago is GITEX Global, and you can see some pictures here. There were 170,000 people in Dubai, which is really an incredible number. And our stage was in front of the 100 participants, and they were doing their pitching of ideas, and then we have the top 3 that got awarded financial prizes. But most of that, they got large visibility, and they got many other things to do. All right, now we are coming to the best committee ever, and it's humanitarian activities. You already heard a lot about it, and you will be hearing much more about it. And so I will not spend too much time, but just to point out some of the things that they are great in doing. And one of that is already the composition of the committee. All of these are great volunteers, great engineers, great PhD students, professors, industry people. More than that, they are the ones that are written with ex officio, means that they are older senior people who contributed very much to IEEE, and now they are contributing to humanitarian activities from the global perspective, from the Humanitarian Technologies Board. I suppose some of those you already recognize giving presentation before. Okay, so among the programs, I will not go again deeper into that. You probably already heard, but you can only see the list of the programs, and there is a really wide area of opportunities for you to get some information, for you to get some network, for you to get some seed funding from all of that. So the largest financial program the committee has is Community Support Program, which is a call for projects that are going to be implemented by your side groups. And you can get up to $6,000 annually. And the call was last time somewhere in August, so pay attention for the next one that you will have in 2024. In 2023, we got 29 submissions and 6 grants out of it. Happening, I suppose, perhaps some even in your sections. So, well, mostly in your sections, I suppose. And if you are interested, you can also perhaps get involved in the already ongoing projects. And many, many more. And I suppose more are coming. The committee is really diligent, and the Humanitarian Activities Congress is the event that's happening right now is one of those as well. I will get back to that, especially in the next session, but I will just now continue just to show you the rest of the committees. The one is membership development. They organize volunteering leadership training, and the next one will be happening in North Macedonia in April next year. So if you want to learn about the administrative part or leadership part, how to become officer in IEEE organizational unit, which is also side group, you can perhaps come to this event, and you will get all the training, all the tools, and ultimately all the network that you can get. Life members. So once, let's say, your career is behind you and you are retired, so that means age of 65 in most of the countries. Well, it's increasing. But together with it, if you are IEEE member for at least 35 years, then you get the status of IEEE Life members. So your membership is free, and you have many more perks. And then this is kind of an honorary thing to credit you for your large contribution to IEEE. So why is this interesting for you? Because there are also funding available for $2,000 annually that you can, or perhaps even more, that you can get in touch with your local affinity group again and work on some program and then communicate with the global committee and to get this funding available. They are really keen to support young people, not only among themselves, so this is a great opportunity for activities as well. So the one I was mentioning, engineering projects in community service, is very much in line to the vision of humanitarian activities, but a little bit broader, a little bit wider. It can be many things as long as it helps community in general, also from the perspective of technology. So this here is one example, and you can see the pictures. But how it works is that you also apply for a grant, and the grant is a little bit higher here. It is up to $30,000 annually. And the one opportunity has just closed, and the next one will be in the 1st of March 2024. So you can write a project proposal, which is more comprehensive than the one for the side projects, and you can apply for the funding and get up to $30,000. You can collaborate with other sections, with other countries, with other continents. You can do something together with Europe, etc., etc. So we have career services. This is kind of a platform that helps you in finding a job or finding an employee, depending on what age you are. And they are doing many events on this side. They are bringing opportunities for the members, and they are also having, well, they are working on a career platform that where you can find this very easy way. So altogether, these 13 committees and, as I mentioned, 100 volunteers, we pay a great attention that they are coming from a large variety of people, from all the diversity of age, of gender, of geographic area, whatever you think of, you can name it. So if you are a very active volunteer, and if you would like to join in one of these committees, or for example, humanitarian activities, just keep in touch with George and Theodoros, or me directly, and let us know that you would like to contribute. Well, with this, I wish to say thank you once again.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mariela Machado. I'm Senior Director for Humanitarian Technologies here at IEEE, and I'm very excited to be joining you. Unfortunately, I couldn't join you live, but I hope this presentation is insightful and motivational for you all to join us in this incredible work. During my presentation, I will do a quick introduction of myself, just so that you know a bit about my career path and my work here at IEEE. Then I will go into the HTV mission and vision, the accomplishments and impact that the board has had, and then that strong partnership with your region, with Region 8, and the call for proposals, and some examples of the type of projects that we fund, and hopefully to get you excited, you know, and come join us in different forms. And then finally, I will be speaking about the 2024 strategy and beyond. So this is our incredible 2023 IEEE Humanitarian Technologies Board, our great volunteers that have driven the work this year in that foundational year, and I will be speaking a bit about that in a second. I want to thank everyone for this invitation on behalf of our chair and our past chair. Our chair, you might know him, Luanga Herbert, and our past chair, Sampath Kumar. And I'm very excited to be speaking to you on their behalf as well. My name, as I mentioned, is Mariela Machado Fantacchiotti. I'm a telecommunications engineer by training. I have my first master's in information and communication technologies from the UPC, that maybe some of you connected here might know is the university, the Politecnico University in Catalunya, in Barcelona. And my second master's was an MPA in Sustainable Development from Columbia University here in the city of New York City, where I reside. I have more than 15 years of experience at the intersection of technology, social, environmental impact, and public policy. I also teach a class at Columbia University called Emerging Digital Technologies for Impact. And I speak 5 languages, including Swedish, which you might be surprised. I'm originally from Venezuela and also half Italian. So I'm very excited to be joining you, given my connection with Region 8 in many ways. So let me speak to you a bit about the vision and mission of the Humanitarian Technologies Board. Our vision is to drive volunteers around the world that are carrying out this impactful humanitarian technologies at a local level. That's very important for the vision that this board has. We also promote and support impactful and ethically informed volunteer-led initiatives, programs, and projects to address social challenges in a responsive, effective, and sustainable way. We're very aligned, as you might know, with the mission of IEEE at large in advancing technology for the benefit of humanity in a very targeted way and in a way that is hoping to solve local challenges. We are aligned to the strategic plan of IEEE that I'm not sure if you have seen, but we are really trying to inspire the audience that has technical interest to inform public policy and expand knowledge for the benefit of humanity. We also hope to provide opportunities for your career development. So before I move on to what our board actually does and the work that we are driving, I will start with something that you here all in this event might have heard, and it's the SDGs, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And as you see here on the right, we have all the global call for action and framework to achieve sustainable development. And you see here that these are 17 goals, and that we have here, as you see it on the screen, number 7 is affordable and clean energy. It's not only electrifying the world, but providing affordable and clean energy. So it's the holistic perspective of sustainable development, so that sustainability is driven by a holistic approach. IEEE and of course our engineers, you all that are connected here, play a big role in achieving all these many different goals, including quality education, good health and well-being, no poverty, sustainable cities and communities. So we all have a role to play in achieving these sustainable development goals. I want to speak to you a bit about the Humanitarian Technologies Board, or how I will refer to it moving forward, HTB, and the role that we were given 1 year exactly ago by the Board of Directors. And is that expanded mandate, aside from the work that you might have heard we did before, the Humanitarian Activities Committee, or HAC, we were assigned the additional role of support and oversight of humanitarian technologies initiatives and programs across IEEE to decrease risk and increase impact. The initial big focus, or the initial big 6 major humanitarian programs that we are assigned to support are Smart Village, EPICS, REACH, Empower a Billion Lives, SITE, and MOVE. Additionally, we'll continue to support the work that some here in this call might know, and the ones that don't, I will be speaking about this in a second, where we support projects and site groups and events and educational activities focusing on advancing sustainable development around the world. I will speak a little bit more about this expanded mandate and just mention that we're wanting to provide best practices, coordination, oversight, and align a marketing strategy and a unification of communication, so that you can find all these opportunities at the same time and engage with the Humanitarian Technologies Board in a more targeted way. We together believe that we can leverage the strength and reach of each of these programs across an IEEE network to actually achieve the Sustainable Development Goals and beyond. The benefits of IEEE members in connected with HTB are all here on this screen, but I will mention 2 that are very important, or 3. The professional development opportunities that this entails through the project funding and educational opportunities that we offer. And most of all, it's a greater purpose of your engineering careers in trying to solve those local challenges that you are facing wherever you're sitting in Region 8 and in the whole world, in other regions, to actually apply your technical skills in a practical way. I will be speaking a little bit about our accomplishments and impact so that you get to know what we have achieved so far. Since 2013, and what I mentioned, the HAC, that now has become the Humanitarian Technologies Board, has awarded $3.75 million in funding for projects through our call for proposals. We offer this funding to 570 humanitarian technology programs at a local level, additionally to events. Also, our membership per site continues to grow. We currently have 45,000 individuals in 131 countries. 59% of them are students and graduate students, which really shows what I mentioned in the previous slide. The new generation is really wanting to do technology for the good of humanity in a more applied way. I also want to mention, and I will speak to this in a second, that we're partnering and collaborating across the society, and we have done this for the past years, trying to leverage our experience in grant management and program management experience to collaborate and partner with other IEEE entities, that's societies, and that's also regions, to maximize their impact and provide opportunities for members in our collaborative calls for proposals. We do that from the marketing and outreach to the actually evaluation and assignment of funding to the award of funding for these projects. In the past years, we have done Antennas and Propagation Society collaboration, signal processing. You see there Region 8, which is, you are a big partner of HAC and now HTV. And this year we have done Communication Society and again Region 8. And I will be speaking to you in a second about the awards and how exciting this partnership has been. I want to speak a bit about our strategic areas of focus and accomplishments, and I will start with the development of this infrastructure that is needed to provide that expanded mandate that we were awarded, that oversight of the broader humanitarian technologies activities at IEEE. We had created a new website and identity for HTV that we hopefully the team will put in the chat so that you connect with us and find out about the latest call for proposals, the development of initial recommendations and best practices for impact metrics, the strengthening and the refinement of the governance structure, and the creation of a new endowment fund that will provide $1 million from the IEEE Foundation. Since this work has been a big focus of the foundation in the past years, and it will continue to be now that HTV has become a board and has been awarded this expanded mandate. We also have enhanced the partnerships and collaboration across the society, as I mentioned, with the open calls. And we are continuing to improve also on what we inherited from HAC. We have done 5 successful call for proposals with more than 290 proposals. And we have also done the refinement of the frameworks and processes for these call for proposals, automating the monitoring and evaluation so that we can do many more calls with in a more efficient way. We have digital dashboards on projects or data per region that we'll hopefully be sharing in a near future. They're still in the works. And we also created the portfolio and the annual report on the success projects. I will skip this, but we are thankful for the IEEE Foundation for providing support so that we can continue to do this great work. I will move on now to our HTV strong partnerships with Region 8. And I just want to highlight the call for proposals that we had in 2022 and now in 2023, and that we hope to continue for the upcoming year. In 2022, we did a call for proposals in community intervention projects, and we offer site groups in Region 8 this opportunity to apply for funding for to solve their local challenges and achieve SDGs through technology. 3 projects were awarded $9,000 to teams in Bahrain, Nigeria, and Ukraine. In 2023, we also hosted a really successful Region 4 HAC community support program, and we offer prospective site groups for funding, and this was also supported by HTV and the board, and we provided joint funding for this call for proposals. 6 projects were awarded, more than $35,000 to teams in Greece, Kenya, Nigeria, and Uganda. And I will speak a bit about that example, the solar street lighting for Brick community in Abuja, in Nigeria. More than 1,000 people were impacted by this project with a funding of $3,000. And the project was implemented to correct defective street lighting in a community of more than 2,000 family settlements to improve security and reduce the rates of accidents and crimes. The team decommissioned the existing lighting system and installed a modern and effective solar power one. So as I mentioned, it's not only lighting up, it's also making it sustainable. All the lights have a modular design and allow 20% faster charge than single sided like they were before. We think this is the kind of example of project that we want to continue to fund. So if you have any ideas for our next call for proposals that hopefully will come out at the beginning of next year, so stay tuned for that on our website and social media outlets and through your region and HAC chair at a local level, to be sure that you are that you can apply and hopefully get granted some funding to perform your project. So finally, and I hope I'm not taking too much of your time and that this has been insightful for you all, I just want to speak to you about the 2024 strategy for HTV and where our energy will be focused. We're going to be mapping out the programs and strategic plans for stakeholders. We are going to identify here in this HTV ecosystem, how do we link all of this together so that you as a member can, or if you want to become a member, you can apply for this funding in a sequential way, or maybe in a strategic way. We also want to be sure that we are increasing the membership engagement and growing value across all our stakeholders to increase funding and hopefully increase the impact that these technological projects are having at a local level. So we hopefully want to provide to you all in the coming months and hopefully in the future as we move along, a holistic and enhanced IEEE volunteer engagement experience, where you can apply all your knowledge to actually solve problems at a local level, having more purpose to your engineering journey, and having meaning to why you studied this career that could actually change lives. Our strategic areas of focus will be these 4 pillars that you're seeing here on the screen. We are wanting to advance technology for good through ethically informed programs and project grants. So we will continue to drive the work that I just mentioned and increase, hopefully, the effectiveness, the application process, so that we can do more calls and more effectively, as I mentioned. We are wanting to grow an awareness and career growth and also unify the communication that we have had, as I mentioned, with all the humanitarian programs across the board, so that you click one site and you can actually find out for which of these call for proposals you can apply, if not for one, maybe for a few of them, or maybe one first, the second, the third, so that we can also support your career growth and your professional development. Third, best practices and frameworks. We're hoping to provide best practices to all the humanitarian technology programs across IEEE for the capacity building and to support also the experience and the metrics that these programs are having externally. And finally, partnerships and ecosystem, and we really hope to keep collaborating with Region 8. I really hope that most of you here have gotten a little excited about the work that we're trying to drive with our Humanitarian Technologies Board, and that you come join us as in different capacities through joining as a volunteer for the Humanitarian Technology Boards across the committees. And please stay tuned, that we'll be rolling out a call for volunteers to actually review these applications and start learning about site and about our projects. So stay tuned for that. And our call for proposals are coming out later this year or at the beginning of next year. And we're hoping to have at least 2 or 3 call for proposals with our partners at regions and societies across IEEE. So please connect with us, follow us on the different outlets, and just be sure that you're on top of that HTV at IEEE.org website. And finally, I just want to leave you this email in case you have any questions. Just be sure to write us at htv/office@IEEE.org. I hope this was helpful, and I'm very excited to have joined you remotely. And I hope that soon we can all meet in person next year or the years to come. Thank you so much for the invitation to the organizers, and we're very excited to have been here present at this event. Thank you, everyone.